Good evening and welcome to Prime Business. My name is Emma Davis. Let's settle for the details. In 2024, every 32 pesos of 1 cedi of domestic revenue will be used to service the country's debt. That's according to the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISSER. This represents 32% of domestic revenue. There's more in the following report. In 2022, the country spent 56 pesos of every 1 cedi of domestic revenue in servicing debt. According to ISSER, the government must minimize borrowing going forward. This is because a high deficit will lead to high borrowing, whilst a high debt servicing will restrict fiscal space for capital expenditure. In its analysis of the impact of the 2024 budget on the private sector, it said there haven't been many changes between 2023 and 2024 revenue targets, and as such, there is a slightly higher indication for fiscal consolidation in spending. The research organization also expressed worry about the crowding out of the private sector, thus calling for a zero financing of the budget by the Bank of Ghana in 2024. Overall, the fiscal balance is projected at 4.8% of the size of the economy in 2024 compared to 5.9% for 2023. ISSER added that achieving 2024 targeted fiscal balance will provide a good signal on the potential to break the infamous political business cycle. Meanwhile, economist Professor Peter Korte has expressed optimism in the stability of the cedi going into the festive season.
The outlook still remains positive. I don't think the cedi is going to depreciate very rapidly. We are in November. Normally, November, December, there is high demand for forex, but you still see that we still very comfortable in terms of the depreciation. I think there is hope. The IMF program is delayed, but we are told that by first week of December or second week of December, there is likely to be some release. We have met all the conditions. If government has not met the conditions, then that is where we should panic. But I think having met all the conditions, what is left is for the external creditors to give us an assurance letter. And I don't think that is a big thing. And I believe that will happen. So, the outlook for the exchange rate looks positive in my view.
Away from ISSER, many scientists are predicting the Earth is heading toward a global warming danger zone, and humans are responsible for most of it by upsetting the balance in the natural ecosystem. The massive scale of livestock farming releases represent 14.5% of anthropogenic emissions of greenhouse gases. One of the biggest challenges to achieving mitigation in the livestock sector in tracking emissions is to implement national inventories. In light of this, the Soil Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research organized a workshop to discuss the development of Tier 2 of an inventory for the sector. There's more in this report. Systems for measuring and monitoring changes in livestock greenhouse gas emissions are underdeveloped in many countries. Challenges in compiling data about the activities related to livestock management is a primary barrier. Currently, most developing countries, including Ghana, use the IPCC Tier 1 approach, which can only reflect change in livestock numbers. In view of this, the Soil Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, in collaboration with the New Zealand Agricultural Greenhouse Research Centre, are working to develop Tier 2 of the livestock greenhouse gases inventory improvement support in Ghana. Professor Paul Bosu is Director General of CSIR.
We want to know, as a country, as a people, how are we doing with our production systems? Are we doing it such that though we are producing, for example, livestock, it is harming the environment, it is increasing the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and for that matter, contributing to global warming. So if we are not doing it well, if the figures are higher than expected, then as a people, we need to develop sustainable ways of producing livestock so that it doesn't harm the environment, our environment, and the environment of the world as a whole. The other thing is that then we can also source for support from, for example, the Climate Action Group to help us to develop. So it can bring in resources even as we try to develop sustainably.
Assistant Director of Agriculture at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Jibril Ahmed, explained the difference between Tier 1 and 2.
Ghana is a signatory to the UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change. And as a signatory, we need to report on our emission levels annually. Yeah, so this workshop is about improving the livestock inventory. We report on the crop subsector. We also report on the livestock sector as an agriculture sector. And we use the methodology is the Tier 1 methodology. And that is what we currently use to report on our emission levels within the livestock sector. Now, the Tier 1 only uses what you call the livestock population. So the Tier 2 takes into account the population as well as other factors like the weight of the animals, the age of the animal, then the feed that the animals, the quality of the feed that animals consume. And that is what Ghana intends to move into.
The workshop of the Livestock GHG Inventory Improvement Support in Ghana was to launch the 2-year study, which is funded by the New Zealand Primary Industries. That's all for Prime Business tonight. My name is Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Have a good evening.